Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, back in Limsa in the Drowning Wench, where Butterworm has supposedly a new quest for us. Welcome to the Drowning Wench. Sit wherever you like, mate. I'll be with you in a... Well, if it ain't the one and only real target. I was told a distinguished venturer might be reporting for duty. Fancy that venturer being you, eh? Just so you're fairly warned, though, this ain't no job for a faint of heart. Things are liable to get downright bleeding airy. But if you think you're still interested, let me know and I'll fill you in on the details. I thank you for taking the time to help me out. Now, I'm sure you're busy, so I'll come straight to the point. Word has it some suspicious-looking buggers have been sneaking in and out of the Sastacha sea grot. They need a trustworthy sort to head up north of Airport and find out who they are and what they're up to. Don't sound like much, I know. But since that nasty business over in Swiftperch, folk have been a bit uneasy. Well, I say a bit. 'Tis all they can do not to soil themselves every time the bloody floorboards creak. If you would permit me, Master Bedouin, I would be happy to elaborate. Commander? Well, if it ain't the Chief Yellow Jacket himself, to what do I owe this rare honor, Commander Raymer? Come to make sure me patrons are behaving, or just thirsty? Neither, in fact. I came to welcome Wilt back in Limsa. It's well you have returned. Over the course of the past moon, there have been several sightings of an unfamiliar vessel off the coast of Ailport in the vicinity of the Isles of Umbra. This information came to my attention no more than a few weeks after the squad of my own soldiers had completed a routine patrol of the region, the Sastacha sea grot included. Their search revealed little save that a family of Curls had taken up residence in the caves. Nothing to concern us, in short. In light of recent developments, however, it would seem wise to search Sastacha again. But with Asagin testing our defenses daily, I'm loath to assign the task to the limited forces at my disposal. Our line is stretched as is. Thus I sought the services of a competent adventurer to conduct an investigation in our stead. Any aid you can offer in this matter would be greatly appreciated. When it's settled, Sastacha is located in Western Anasia. For more detailed instructions on how to reach the place, I suggest you consult the Melpa. She can be found at the ferry docks on the lower decks. You had the man. Good luck to you, lad. Come on, Everite. And I need to go to the Fisherman's Guild. Or to the ferry port that is right beside it. You hear about Commander Reina's investigation? Then you want to board a ferry bound for Ailport. Once you arrive in Western Anasia, well, you'd best pay a visit to the Hall of a Novice before you blunder into Sastacha. The Adventurers Guild runs the hall, and the folks there will prepare you, train you with the skills you need to face the dangers undoubtedly waiting for you in the sea grot. The hall is on the way to Sastacha, just north of Ailport. Head inside, and one of their seasoned adventurers will take you in hand. Best of luck to you, friend. And here is the Novices Hall. And you must be the adventurer from the Yellow Jackets sent word. I hear you are to brave the depths of the Sastacha sea grot. The occupants of those caves are rumored to be as numerous as they are bloodthirsty. No matter what the epic tales would have you believe, strolling into such a den of savagery alone would be the height of foolishness. No, you shall need companions. And you shall need the training we here at the Hall of Novice can provide. I strongly suggest that you study the fundamentals of group combat before continuing on your mission. The smith here oversees the training schedules. Speak with him and you can register for exercises tailored to your particular field of expertise. That's that man over there with spout symbol. When you have mastered all that our masters can teach you, then it will be time to head north once more. Report to the Yellow Jacket Scouts at the mouth of Sastacha Seagrot, and he will furnish you the details of your duty. Now, this is basically a group combat tutorial. If you have played MMOs before, you likely already know most of what he will tell you. But you should probably do it anyway, because doing the tutorials for the first time with a given role, in my case here a tank, gives you equipment for level 15 for the job, which is pretty decent. So I cut this out for you and see each other in a moment. Okay, I did that now, and I got the brand new set here, the brand new tank set, which actually looks pretty nice in comparison to the nonsense that I had before. Also, I got the brand new ring, which gives a 30% experience bonus whenever I am under level 30. Like, for example, now. Also, it has pretty impressive stats for under level 30. And here are other adventurer groups who want to try themselves at Sastacha. These four here? Ada, you're so slow. You'd lose a foot race with a tree slug. What took you so bloody long, Ada? If me purse was too light, you might have considered using some of your own bleeding coin to get us what we need. You've only ever been as useful as the contents of your pockets. But gods know you can barely heal a scratch. We took up the venturing life to take on the big jobs and claim the big rewards. How are we meant to do that if we can't even get our supplies in order? Huh? It's him. The one bad one was talking about. Well, we'll see who gets the glory. This job should have been ours in the first place. Sorry, Eve. I came as fast as I could. I tried haggling with a merchant, but 2 potions was the best I could get with the money you gave me. I had no idea how expensive they were. This is perfect for our inaugural outing as a party, wandering around in caves, turning over a few rocks. How difficult could it possibly be? I never expected our first visit to the Adventurers Guild would yield such a straightforward way to win fame and fortune. Also, Eliana and Isildur. Grandfather and I are companions on the road. We travel where the wind takes us and drink in all the wonders this world has to offer. Only an adventurer can understand the joy of such freedom, of discovering hidden places and experiencing sights and sounds that few may ever know. The passing years have begun to take their toll on the old man, but no force save death will sate his appetite for adventure. Ah, fellow adventurer. You too are here to unravel the mysteries of Sastacha. I have adventured across the wide realm for more seasons than I dare to count, yet still Eorzea manages to surprise me with her beauty and splendor. Our journeys are not ended by the attainment of riches or fame. It is an unquenchable thirst for the unknown that drives us into the wilds time and again. Even if I explored the world for 1,000 times, I would never grow weary of this life. Just look at this beauty. See how she glows? You can almost feel the power running through her. What exactly have you there? What is it? Well, what does it look like? It's a short sword. But now I suppose you're wondering why all the fuss over a short sword. That's easy, you see. This is no ordinary one-of-a-mill mass-forged store-bought bottom-of-a-bargain-bin short sword. This here is an ethereal... is a genuine ethereal short sword. Can't you see its glow? No? Well, trust me, it's there. And that glow means the short sword is special. It means it's powerful. Or at least a little more powerful than what you normally expect from a mere short sword. In fact, that's the case with most ethereal gear. Though no two pieces are ever alike. Why it might be that the next time you delve into Sastacha, you'll find an ethereal short sword even more powerful than this one. Then I toss this piece of junk into the side of the road like the rubbish it is. Not that it's rubbish, mind you. I think I'll leave you alone with the sword. And I think also that that patch 5.3 removed the getting of ethereal weapons and stuff like that. I believe the only ethereal gear you can still find is ethereal accessories, so on this side. Otherwise you have fixed items for the dungeon by now. Okay. Please tell me you're here on Yellow Jacket duty and not some daft sort out for a stroll. I can't take any more of this blasted waiting. You are? Thank the gods. I assume you already know about this ship, seen slipping around the Isles of Umbra? We've been on the lookout for pirate activity ever since that vessel was sighted. Thinking a crew of cutthroats might have a den nearby. So when we received word that men of questionable quality had been seen passing in and out of Sastacha here, we weren't entirely surprised. I've yet to see them for myself, but if this lot belongs to those fishback fencing serpent weavers, well, you can imagine the panic it would cause. The kidnappings are still fresh in people's minds. Anyway, you're tasked to poke around in the caves and find out exactly who we're dealing with. While do that, I'll be keeping watch out here, praying you don't spot any blue face tattoos. Use the duty finder to enter Sastacha, our first dungeon. Now, with the duty finder, you can find it here under duty, or for me it's the hotkey U. You list but I think I do this dungeon off screen, and if you're interested in watching the dungeon, I have a dungeon and raid and stuff like that playlist. You will probably find Sastacha right on top of that playlist. Okay. The quest led us back to Padawan after the dungeon. So, let's report in. Aye, such a task was in the book. Was, mind. I'm afraid that ship has already sailed, friend. Might you be the adventurer who accepted the job of investigating Sastacha? It would seem that ship has not only sailed, but now returns to harbor. None the worse for its voyage. Pity. We dragged our boots too long on this one. No matter. When we return and our chance will come. You're right, of course. But there shall be no rest till we have attained our goal, lofty though it may be. Not a wink of sleep, great leader. Our aim, lest you wonder, is to perform such feats of heroism as will earn us a place in the songs of every alehouse in Eorzea. We mean to write a legend, which will inspire adventurers as yet unborn to follow our shining example. Do you have such a goal? Large or small, it matters not. Only have a star to reach for, and you will reach higher. Purpose can sustain you through times of hardship. Keep your eye on the prize, and all obstacles will be overcome in time. You would not think to stride into battle unclad, would you? Well, goals are as arms and armor for the spirit. I wish you fortune in their endeavors, sir. Bye. Back when I am, with all your limbs and a tale to tell, I wager. Fishbacks. I was thinking you'd have the cracked pirate skull for 7 hells. You turn your head for 5 bloody minutes and the scaly bastards have set up shop in your bleeding doorstep. Still sounds like you left them in pieces, so I don't suppose they'll be carrying out whatever mischief they were planning. Unless they was planning on feeding themselves to the fauna of Sastacha, of course. Anyway, all's well that ends well. Thanks for shedding some light on this mystery. I knew you'd get the job done, lad. You always do. Now, I'll bet you're dying for a rest, but just in case you're not, I was wondering if you might be interested in taking on another job. I just so happen that I've had a request from our sister guild in Gridania, see? Seems the forest folks are in need of adventure that can get things done. For them to ask for help like this, you can bet the task won't be no skip through the sunny glade. But after the way you dealt with our fishback infestation, I doubt it'll be anything you can't handle. Give us a shout when you're ready, and I'll lay it out for you. Party finder unlocked. If you look for something a bit more specific. Ready to hear about that job then? Like I said, the request comes from our sister guild in Gridania. And that's all I know. But whatever it is you get asked to do, I somehow doubt it pose any trouble for an adventurer as survived the battle in Sastacha. If you think you might be interested, you want to have words with Mother Mion, my counterpart in Gridania. Good luck, mate. Okay, let's get to Gridania. By airship. Take a seat wherever you like, friend. Our waitress will come to take your... Oh, not here to dine? There I hope you're the adventurer Badwan sent word about. You are? The matron be praised. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mion, and the Carline Canopy is my place. With regards to the task in question, there's a fair bit to tell. Let me know when you're ready to hear the details, and I shall brief you. Ready for that briefing? Good. Now then, here's the long and short of it. Beg pardons for interrupting, Mion, but our need grows ever more pressing. Have none stepped forward? Good morrow to you too, Bowlord. Your need must be pressing indeed for you to honor us with a visit. The good news is, your journey hasn't been wasted. I'm pleased to report that we have a volunteer at last, and one who comes highly recommended at that. My thanks for answering the call, friend. My name is Lewin, and I lead the men and women of the God Scribble. Now, time is of the essence, so I shall proceed directly to the heart of the matter. We wish for you to nip a potential threat to Gridania in the bud. Beneath a central shroud, there lies an underground burial site called the Tam-Tara Deepcroft. The place was once a Gelmoran settlement, but we Gridanians have long interred our dead there. Of late, however, shadowy figures have been seen skulking about the Deepcroft, and with ever-increasing regularity. Based on the accounts of various witnesses, we suspect that these individuals belong to the Lambs of Dalamut, a doomsday cult which sprung up prior to the calamity. The zealots have proven themselves dangerous in the past, and we leave them to their own devices at our peril. Ordinarily, I would have dispatched my best man to scour the Deepcroft with orders to flush the cultists out. Alas, the calamity decimated our ranks, and the limited forces at my disposal are constantly required to keep the Ixal at bay. The birdmen have grown restless of late, and I fear a storm may be brewing. In anticipation of this, I have been compelled to spread our forces throughout the 12th Root, lest we be taken unawares. The situation so being, we must turn to others to deal with the Lambs of Dalamut. Can we rely on you to undertake this task, friend? You have my gratitude. Once you've seen to your preparations, pray make your way to the Deepcroft and identify yourself to the guard posted at the entrance. He will apprise you of the latest developments. That is all. Be careful out there, you hear? May the crystal guide you and keep you. Now, here's the exit out of Gridania. Then along this path here to Bentbench Meadows with the Aetherite, and further south, and you take the right path where here is the entrance to Tam-Tara. And here is one of the two of the adventurer groups we met. Childish curiosity prompted me to commit the most elementary of blunders. If it had not for the fruit that Lian found, my adventures might have ended in this forbidding place. Always look before you leap. In my haste, this fundamental rule of adventuring slipped my mind. I do believe I shall rest here a while. I shudder to think what might have happened to Isidore had I not thought to pick the fruit I stumbled across on the way here. Sometimes he has too much vigor for his own good. Age is supposed to mellow us, but if anything it has made him more impetuous. I understand his desire to make use of the time left to him, but one misstep and there won't be any. What's with you three? So we meet again. I cannot say I'm surprised to see you here. You took the prize back in Limsa, but this time we give you better sport, or I am no true adventurer. Think of our goal, sister. One day our adventures will be the stuff of song, and it will be all worth it. Gods, I hate mausoleums. It's not right to disturb the dead in their slumber. Wait. Look, these dead aren't slumbering. You would target, I take it? Thanks for helping us out, friend. No doubt the Bolot has already informed you, but your task is to enter the Deepcroft and purchase of the Lambs of Dalamut. In case you're unfamiliar with them, the cult emerged shortly before the Calamity and put an end to the Sixth Astral Era. The cult emerged shortly before the Calamity put an end to the Sixth Astral Era. The cult took the Lesser Moon Dalamut for their god, believing that it would deliver them from the devastation. And so they were rather disappointed when Dalamut exploded into 1,000 flaming pieces before it could complete its ascent. Now, having seen their god turn to ash, one would think that a cultist might feel moved to question their faith. On the contrary, it serves only to stoke the flames of their fanatism. The Lambs of Dalamut are convinced that heretics, that's to say everyone but them, interfered with the coming of their Lord and Savior, and that it's now their sacred duty to avenge him. Whatever it is they're doing in the Deepcroft, you may be sure that no good will come from it. For the sake of Gridania and Eorzea at large, put an end to their madness. And our second dungeon, the Tam-Tara Deepcroft. Like before, I will cut you out for this, and if you're interested, there is the dungeon playlist. Okay, and done. Welcome back, Wilt. I'm reliably informed that your foray into the Deepcroft was a success. Nor did I expect anything less, but once the ringing endorsement left me in little doubt as to your capabilities. Even so, you are to be commended. Bolot Luin asked me to pass on his thanks. I must say it's something of a relief to be able to call upon such a capable adventurer. Sadly, death has become an ever more common occurrence within our fraternity of late. Times being what they are, the guild is constantly inundated with petitioners, and we are hard-pressed to find enough hands to deal with them all. While this means no shortage of work for able souls such as yourself, it also proves ample opportunity for the inexperienced to overreach themselves, with predictable consequences. As if to illustrate the point. There's Gun, it's your fault. If it hadn't taken you an age to heal him, you would still be alive. But I tried. He bolted out of range before I could finish the spell. He shouldn't have been so hard-pressed in the first place. We should have done more to lighten his burden. To the hell with this pathetic excuse of a party. I'm leaving, and it'd be too soon if I never see your faces again. Goodbye and good riddance. I'm leaving as well. I doubt this will come as any surprise, but I never liked you. I only suffered you for your healing, and you couldn't even do that one thing right. Cruel though it might sound, you brought this upon yourself. Oh, and by way of some parting advice, get rid of Aver's head. Bury it, cremate it, do whatever the hells you like with it, but for God's sake, stop carrying it around. Just get rid of it, alright? Wait, don't leave me alone. Please. I'm so sorry, Aver. Please forgive me. Scenes like this have become all too common. That makes 12 times in half as many days. It was one of the groups standing in front of Sastacha, right? Arguing about the price of potion was too high. Now you see why I'm grateful for adventurers of your experience. I can send men like you on a mission without worrying that you might not return. Well, not so much as anyway. Speaking of missions, I would entrust you with another. About a bell ago, I received a message from my counterpart in Ulda. She seeks the services of a reliable adventurer, and you're nothing if not reliable. If you think you might be interested in this task, say the word and I will be glad to share the details with you. Yeah. Come. So you're not averse to taking a little trip? Wonderful! As I mentioned earlier, the request comes from the adventurous guild in Ulda. Once you arrive, seek out Momodi, the proprietors of a quicksand. Think of her as the Sultanat's version of myself. Chances are she sent you into the midst of danger, but I have every confidence you pull through unscathed. Now, off you go, Ilt, and good luck. Welcome to the quicksand, friend. I'm a tad busy right now. If you wouldn't mind showing yourself to... judged by your determined expression, I take it you ain't here for ale? Are you called with Agate by any chance? Mion sent word that you'd be reporting for duty. She also made a point of calling you the adventurer of a moment. Well, ain't no small praise coming from her. But you didn't come all the way here to listen to me prattle. Doubtless you're eager to get started, so let's talk business, shall we? The petitioner ought to be arriving any moment now. Gods almighty, in another second under that senate I would have been set afire. Tankard of ale, would you be so kind? Excellent timing, Papa-chan. It just so happens the adventurer who will be handing your petition is here. So this strapping young lad is the much-lauded adventurer, is he? Marvelous. Marvelous. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, good sir. I'm Papa-chan, formerly of the Sultan's Swarm. I thank you for agreeing to lend us your aid. Mayhap you'd like to apprise rid of his mission? Ah, yes, of course. The petition in question was submitted by an acquaintance of mine at Amagina & Sons Mineral Concern. It relates to an unfortunate development at Copperbell Mines. To be plain, giants have seized control of the place. These giants are the clan known as the Hekatonchers, fearsome creatures who were steeled within the deepest depths of the mines during the bygone Fawn dynasty. Alas, it seems they managed to break through the layer of rock which served to imprison them, and now prowl the tunnels where the miners ply their trade. The creatures are justifiably angry about their treatment at the hands of our ancestors, and their presence has forced the suspense of all mining activities on the site. It's no wonder they're angry. Didn't the Fawn dynasty come to an end over 300 years ago? You know your history well, milady. The people of that age used the Hekatonchers to work the mines. By way of enchanted helms, they were able to bind the ferocious creatures to their will. But, as is often the way in such tales, these enchantments eventually failed and the slaves rose up against their masters. In a desperate bid to contain the unbridled fury of the Hekatonchers, our ancestors induced the collapse of the mine's lowermost levels. So it was that the great giant revolt was ended, buried beneath 100,000 tons of rock. Well now, that got me thinking. I seem to recall there being an article about Copperbell in the Mithril Eye a fortnight or so ago. It said the mines were being reopened as to meet the rising demand for building materials. Like as not, our boys dug a bit too deep and freed the giants. Gods, to think the poor creatures are still alive and kicking after 3 centuries. That's a long time to nurse a grudge. They must be thieving. Indeed, that makes them a danger to us all. There will be no mining at Copperbell as long as they remain. For the sake of both peace and prosperity, they must be subdued. This is a task which we would have you undertake. I'll not deny that the mission will be rife with danger, but our need is great, and I beg you, put an end to the sorry business. God bless you. I feared you might have reservations, but I assure you it's for the best. In case you don't know, Copperbell mines are in western Fanalan. Do take care. You hear? And one last thing about you before you depart. An employee of Amagina and Sons is presently at the quicksand. The fellow's name is Painted Mesa, and he knows Copperbell mines well. It may behoove you to seek his counsel. That would be this gentleman here. Looking for Painted Mesa? You found him. So you're the adventurers volunteer to deal with a mess down in Copperbell. I am. You got guts, mate. I just hope you got skill to go with them, cause things ain't pretty down there. The hackathon shares left the place in the right state and nary a week after mining resumed. I don't know if you know this, but Copperbell was old when the second Ul dynasty was still young and was abandoned centuries ago. If it hadn't been for a shortage of materials needed for the rebuilding effort, the concern would never have thought to reopen it. We knew full well about the giants beforehand, but the project went ahead anyway. I mean, nothing could possibly survive being buried under a mountain worth of rock for 3 centuries, right? Wrong. Our miners dug up more than they got bargained for. One swing of a pickaxe too many, and they found themselves in the company of giants. Unless you can subdue them, the nation's glorious recovery will grind to a halt for want of aught to build with. The stone torches keep watch over the entrance in case the giants fancy some sunlight and fresh air. One of them will be able to show you the way in. The hope of a nation is resting on you, friend. Best of luck. Okay, as we said, Copperbell is in western Fanalan. I don't have the map yet. It is just a bit to the east of Horizon. Probably don't have a map here for me. I have, okay. As I said, a bit of east of Horizon, and well, apparently only Isidore and Aliana here. What happened to the other group? I've been an adventurer for long years and borne witness to many a pivotal moment in history. Our times may have changed, the essence of our trade has not. Adventuring has ever been a quest for self-betterment through challenges freely faced, and ever shall it remain so. As an adventurer becomes more experienced, he will naturally acquire a love of justice, an understanding of the spirit of self-sacrifice. Such experience cannot be measured in any tangible way, yet it most assuredly shapes who we are, grounded as it is in the decisions we have made on our journey, and their consequences, good or ill. I sense a light within you, young one, and it tells me that you are destined for greatness. We found Dolores Bear and his entire party dead. The giants were thorough in their work. Wow. Okay, I was wondering where they went. Judging by the tracks, it would seem they tried to rush a horde of creatures. I cannot say for sure what drove an experienced crew like theirs to throw caution to the wind, but I do have my suspicions. We are all our own worst critics, and our desire to better past achievements can rob us of good sense, was to become more given to recklessness. While it is important to have goals, one must not fixate upon them to the exclusion of all else. Do so and one will surely pay the price, as Dolores Bear and his comrades did this day. There's been an incident inside Copperbell mines. We're here to ensure that its effects are contained, but for your own safety, I suggest you stay well away from here. What? You're the adventurer who's volunteered to quell the hackathons, yes? I didn't think that Papa John would be able to find someone so quickly, if at all. The giants are content to wreak havoc inside the mines for now, but it's only a matter of time before they think to come outside. The sooner you see to them, the better. Make ready as best as you can, and enter at will. Okay, this is the third dungeon. And for now, the last one. After this, there's a bit of other stuff to do. And because of that, and because I won't show off this dungeon here either, there is the dungeon playlist if you want to look at it. We see each other back next time in front of Momodi. Until then, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.